So if you have an old cistern or well that you need to fill and do something with, I just want to show you what we did with our cistern. So we bought this house that was built about 70 years ago, and it had these two cisterns, one on each side. One I assume was maybe septic and maybe one was a well. And they were actually quite large on the inside. So we were clearing out an old house and an old shed garage, and so we had lots of stuff to get rid of. So we kind of used this as a little bit of a dump, and we piled in tons of ash from burn piles and a lot of dirt on top. And then we planted this yew evergreen bush on top. And I think it's gonna fill in and look really nice in a few years. This we planted about a year ago. So you can see it has maybe about 6 inches of new growth. So I put in a lot of dirt here that I bought, just bags of dirt, and then I put some cedar mulch on top of it here. They weren't looking too healthy the first year, but right now they're looking super healthy. It's been a super wet, cloudy time, and apparently that must be really good for yew plants. One thing to be aware of though is you have to really pack a cistern tight, because a cistern can probably hold a ton of volume. And so you can pack in tons of stuff in there, a lot more than you might think. And as things get settled and as it rains, you might have some shifting where the dirt gets sucked into the cistern a little bit. So you want to make sure you really pack it in tight before you plant a bush or a tree on top of it. And you might also want to research what kinds of plants are okay being really moist, see if it fills up with water when it rains. Or in my case, I put in a lot of ash, and ash might hurt certain types of roots of certain plants. I didn't do a ton of research, but I thought through a lot of different things I could do with a cistern so it wouldn't be a hazard for children to drown, to fall on it and get hurt. And I've been very pleased with what we did, where it fulfilled the purpose of getting rid of a lot of junk without having to go to the dump, getting rid of a lot of ash without having to store it on our property, and also just adding a nice bush that will grow to be, maybe 5 or 6 feet wide, and will cover up a lot of this concrete, which kind of acts as a natural mulch or weed deterrent around the bush. So I think it will look really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and show you our other cistern just so you can see what it looks like a year after we planted it. So here's the other cistern that we filled up, and this was a huge one. This was like a well. We could have made this into a well where we stored fish maybe or something. It was crazy. This yew plant has looked a little healthier than the other side. I don't know if maybe yew plants like having a little shade. This gets a little shade from the house, maybe more so than the other side. But you can see it. We probably have a good ½ foot of new growth on a lot of this plant this season, and so I think in a few years it'll kind of grow out and hopefully fill up this whole area. And I didn't do this, but you can look over here on this side of the cistern that they planted these flowers, and I think those actually look really nice. In the spring they pop up and they have beautiful flowers. I think they might be like tulips or something, don't quote me on that, but anyway, that's just an idea of what you can do with your old cisterns. I hope it's been helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.